The Leica M6. This is a 35mm film camera, not a digital camera. It is ridiculously expensive. It is super popular. The lenses that you buy for it are just as expensive, if not more expensive than the body itself. It's old and it might break down on you at any point. By the way, did I mention that it's film? And you're going to end up scanning your negatives, digitizing them, maybe even scanning them with a digital camera anyways. Why the hell would somebody buy this camera, and what makes it so special? My story that leads to the Leica M6 starts with how I got into photography. I took a photography class my senior year of high school, and I was lucky enough to have a teacher who started us out shooting film. We developed our own film, we made our own prints, we made our own enlargements in a dark room, and that experience just made me fall in love with the idea of shooting film. Fast forward a few years, and I'm a wedding photographer, I'm a portrait photographer, and everything that I had done up until that point had been trying to emulate film. I found myself, after a few years of being a wedding photographer, feeling like the photography process was getting sterile for me. It just wasn't interesting. Things were becoming so easy. It left me wanting something more. It left me wanting that tactile feedback. Eventually, I stumbled onto Leica via my local photography shop. It's hard to not be awestruck by those cameras, by Leica cameras. They are beautiful, they're elegant, and they're simple. More important than that, they give you the feeling of what it is like to shoot film. And so I was hooked. And then eventually I bought a Leica M6. And at the time, I loved the camera. I took it to Yosemite, and me and two of my really good friends just ran around Yosemite and took photos all day long. And I loved it. But there was a catch, and that catch was film. With film comes expenses daily. Every time you shoot a roll of film, that's $15. Every time you want to get it scanned, that's $15. And so each roll of film is $30 out the door. On top of that is the time that you're waiting. You can't just upload it and see it right on your computer as soon as you get home. Part of that is the magic of film, and part of that is an inconvenience. And so at the time, I made the decision that film was not the best choice for me, and I sold it. Fast forward another several years, and I find myself as I am today. And I didn't know what my next step would be, but I still found myself craving that tactile feeling, that feedback, that just intimacy with a camera and with an art practice. And so, different circumstances, I decided I'm gonna take another shot at a Leica M6. I'm looking for a photography practice that doesn't distract me from the moments that I'm in. I wanna just be able to take my photos and move on. See my moment, compose it, take the photo, and keep moving through my day without being distracted by looking at the LCD screen on the back of a camera, messing with settings and all the different features that there are. This is simplicity in its best form. This camera is my daily driver. It is a camera that I take with me almost every day. Are the costs of film still there? Yeah, they are. At this point in my life, I'm able to afford that. And that's something that each person who shoots film just in general is going to have to take into consideration. And it may not be a fit for everyone. But for those people who choose to go that route, film itself, just in general, has a magic about it that digital, I don't think will ever have. And to take that a step further, the benefits of film are not exclusive to just this camera. So why pay all the money for what is essentially a box that holds film and exposes it? The choosing of this camera is completely irrational. Again, it's expensive. None of that erases the cost of this. and the daily cost of shooting this camera, and what happens if it needs a repair. And repair technicians are few and far between. In fact, there's only probably 3 to 4 trusted people in all of the United States that service these cameras outside of Leica. This is a tool that I absolutely love using. I love taking it out with me every single day, and it makes me want to take photos. And there is something to be said about that. I know that that is not original. There are so many people on YouTube that say that, but it really does mean something to have a piece of equipment, to have a tool that makes the photography process easy, but even a step further than that, makes it enjoyable. Ultimately, to choose this camera is a completely illogical and irrational choice. But since when has art ever been logical and rational?